Yo! Yes, everybody, we are here to talk about Triggered Senpai's favorite anime of all time, Demon Slayer. Now, Demon Slayer has absolutely been a monster truck of a franchise, man. This franchise made so much money, it is ridiculous. The latest movie, Infinity Castle Part 1, has the highest grossing sales of any anime movie out there, and I believe it beat Superman at the box office. I don't really need to talk about Demon Slayer more than, I need to, because obviously you probably know about it if you're watching this video, but there's a large section of people out there in the anime manga community that do not rock with Demon Slayer, and you gotta wonder, where does this come from? And some of these criticisms are valid, and other things, I don't really know if they compute, chat. One of the first criticisms that you have levied towards Demon Slayer is that it's style over substance and that the animation carries it. Which is funny because a lot of people feel like in the movie that just came out, the animation was a bit too much. They couldn't tell what was going on. Now, some of that is direction. I will say that the over animation discourse has to do with direction, and that's on the directors to see what's going on. So something like Mahoraga versus Sukuna in JJK Season 2, there was a lot going on. It was crazy, but the camera work, you could see for the most part what was going on at all time. There's some moments in modern One Piece where I'm sitting here, I'm like, what is happening? I have no idea what's going on. Vincent Chansgar's my guy. I love all of his work, but sometimes when he has too much free reign, some of his cuts get absolutely insane. I'm like, all right, I need you to slow it down just a little bit. But a lot of the people that talk about Demon Slayer describe the narrative and characters as simple or surface level, and they lack the thematic punch or complexity of something like Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece, etc. And some people feel that the emotional beats are predictable. Tragic backstory, redemption, flashy finisher, and it seemed as formulaic. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that's perfectly valid. I get that. The second part. But the first part, but simplicity doesn't really mean shallowness in all that, right? Dragon Ball excels at this, right? There is not a single plot thread in Dragon Ball that's like super mind-blowing or super crazy. Like, you, for the most part, know what you're getting into with Dragon Ball, right? But it doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. Not everything has to be peak fiction. If you enjoy something, you enjoy it, dude, and that's perfectly fine. That's why I describe Demon Slayer as one of the most introductory animes that you could do to somebody. There's nothing in here that's super crazy that's gonna drive somebody off of watching the show, man. Anybody can pick this up. I don't want to say it's for all ages, but obviously once you hit like 14, 15, this is gonna be your jam, bro. Get in the community, talk about it. It's cool, right? It's a classic play on morality told with a little bit of a modern polish, right? And people confuse accessibility with mediocrity. I don't really think that's what this is. Something doesn't have to be Steins Gate level of like mindfuckery or like link click or just like, what is going on? Oh, like this story. Oh! Sometimes people want something to enjoy. Now, I rag on Solo Leveling for this because I hate Solo Leveling and people think I'm dumb for it because it put me to sleep. I see where people like it. I see the enjoyment out of it. It's casual. If you're not like me, if you're not a nerd that sits down and talks about the themes, the backgrounds, and you yap for a living, I can see why it'd be your jam, and that's perfectly fine with Demon Slayer as well. The second thing is that it became overhyped by casual audiences. The core critique with this is it became too mainstream too fast. The Mugen Train movie broke every record, and for a lot of people, that kind of popularity felt unearned to certain long-running series or even series that have had poor adaptations. Like, a lot of people were like, oh, I could have got this budget for Tokyo Ghoul, but instead I want to kill myself. I don't know if you can bleep that out. A lot of this has to do with the severe elitist problem in the anime and manga community that if you don't make anime and manga your entire personality, that you're not a real fan, right? Like, oh, you have Demon Slayer in your top 5, you suck, you don't know anything about anime. Instead of actually wanting to open people's eyes to new projects, to, niche and cool things that you would like to have, like Pluto, or even something like Golden Kamuy, things like that. But no, you'd rather bash on people and try to shame them and to make yourself feel superior. No, put them on, give them some ball knowledge. It's okay. And I don't think it's that it's overhyped, it's just a bit overexposed, which is different. It's successful, cool. Does it earn that success? I mean, I think so. Demon Slayer does heart very well. Demon Slayer doesn't try to reinvent the wheel with anything that it does. Dude, Tengen versus Guiezao. Oh, dude, the online reaction to that. You literally have people sweating like they caught the Holy Ghost in church, bro. That was unmatched in terms of hype. People loved that fight, dude. Tengen's my favorite Hashira. I love Ken. That's my guy. That's my guy. And even speaking of characters, a lot of people feel like the character writing is weak, and a lot of people target specifically Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Nezuko as one note. And I will say that this is actually, valid. Inosuke doesn't have an arc, which is kind of odd. I mean, Nezuko doesn't really have one either. And Zenitsu has an arc, and I enjoy it for the most part, but it does feel very fast. It feels like it comes kind of out of nowhere. He's the same person for a decent bit of the story, and then he has, the encounter with the upper rank, and that's really it. He's just the same person. I don't know. I don't want to say he's the same person, but Zenitsu gets a letter off screen and becomes a badass all of a sudden. He actually, grows a pair and actually learns how to fight. Now, does it feel earned? Not really. Him developing his own technique was fucking cool, man. That was sick, but it did feel a bit fast. A lot of people argue that only Rengoku and Akaza have emotional weight in their arcs compared to other top-tier shonen characters, which I agree. I mean, like Kokushibo, when people get to his backstory, he should have been the final boss of the story, man. I'm not gonna hold you. Muzan as a villain isn't really that good. I agree. People like put him on the modern villain Hall of Fame. No, he's definitely not. Muzan sucks, man. There's nothing cool about him. The anime gave him a whole lot of aura with that 10-minute walking scene, like he was in WWE last season with the Hashira training arc. But he doesn't really do it for me. But the thing about Demon Slayer is that it's all a deliberate focus on Tanjiro's empathy and humanity, rather than like an ensemble highlight like One Piece, Naruto, Attack on Titan. The story revolves around Tanjiro's arc, not anybody else. And obviously you have the Hashiras for, whatever arc that they are in. They're a lot minor compared to Tanjiro. Everybody is constantly teaching something to Tanjiro. He's constantly absorbing new information all the time, and he's changing as a person all the time as well. It's just the wealth isn't really spread out to everybody. Now, this one is a bit of a weird one, and the author kind of shot themselves in the foot with it. A lot of people feel like the power system lacks depth. Now, do I really care about the power system? Not really. I don't really care. But the breathing styles and Blood Demon arts, they're visually stunning. They look fantastic. They're cool, sick, great. But they're not really deeply explained. And you have the mangaka make an offhand comment about how none of the effects that you see with the breathing styles are real. So Tanjiro going lightning speed at the end of Swordsmith Village, yeah, that was an actual lightning that he did. You can just choose to ignore this comment and just for your own enjoyment. Don't I very rarely will say it's about any series, but this right here, they hit the pookie before they went to the interview. I'm just saying. A lot of people see it as rule of cool storytelling, like whatever looks good, it just happened in the story. You can kind of take it as that. And a lot of people feel like the fights lack intellectual strategy because they're all just some sort of slashes of some kind, right? And just finding the demon's head and all that. And I get it, but Demon Slayer prioritizes emotion and theme over logic with the battles. Like the battles are more moral conflicts and teaching the demon something or finding out what something is, right? Like Akaza would have killed Akaza would have killed Tanjiro and Giyu if he didn't have his whole flashback and everything, right? 100%. But obviously that moment hit hard for a lot of people. Was that flashback long as hell? Absolutely. Oh my god. 30 minutes. Whoo! But the battles with the power systems and all that, they're not super crazy. Not something super in-depth. I don't want to say you can turn your brain off watching Demon Slayer, but you can kind of just sit there. You can just kind of soak it in very easily, right? And the last thing I kind of want to just discuss with this is you have this misplaced comparison culture that happens. I mean, Demon Slayer is constantly getting compared to things like Chainsaw Man, Naruto, Attack on Titan, etc. But the issue is because it's more straightforward rather than trying to be a lot more cerebral or edgy or talk about things such as politics, it gets dragged as one of these lesser works. But fans of more dark and complex stories, they mock it as too wholesome or juvenile, but it was never trying to compete on that front. That's why it says it has a lot of heart. It's a morality tale in a violent world. It's not a power fantasy. It's trying to show the goodness of people, the goodness of your own nature. Tanjiro talking to Akaza saying, Akaza, you're here. You're living proof that people can be good. You were a baby one time. Someone had to show you kindness as well. That moment specifically hit for me because I never really thought about kindness like that, right? Especially when you go to the end of the series, and I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody, but all of this culminates in the final battle as well. So no, I think that Demon Slayer doesn't really need all of this disrespect, honestly. I think that, do I think it's peak fiction? No, absolutely not. There's things that I enjoy a lot more than Demon Slayer. But is it an easy, introductory, accessible watch? Absolutely, of course. And there's no shame in that. That's perfectly fine, dude. Not everybody wants to see the 47th Isekai release this month and think that's the best thing to ever touch the screen, man. Bro, you don't want to watch My Little Sister Fell in Love with Me and now I have to marry my high school teacher? Nah, man, I'm gonna try to watch that shit. But yeah, man, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about Demon Slayer, and do you guys think that it earns the disrespect that it gets, or do you guys think it's unwarranted like me? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm curious. Anyway, guys, it's me and boy Daffy. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this video. Please make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode. Y'all make sure you take care of yourselves, guys, and have a damn good one. Peace.